Yeah. So yesterday, difference between interpreter and compiler discussed. Interpreter and compiler, the differences discussed. So what is interpreter and compiler? Interpreter versus compiler, the differences discussed. Okay. Yes. So interpreter, these are examples of interpreter. These are the examples for compiler. Yes, Java, it depends on what. Java, is it interpreter based or compiler based? Java, interpreter based or compiler based? Let us see. Java, is it interpreter based or compiler based? Let us see about this one. Okay. See, Java. See, except Java in other languages, what happens here? Except Java in other languages, first of all, source code converts into binary codes. Binary codes. Then binary codes given to processor. Then binary code given to processor. So processor taking that code generating outputs. Generating outputs. Okay. See, except Java in other languages, first of all, source codes converts into binary codes. That binary code given to processor. So processor executes binary code generating outputs. That is what is happening in other languages. Okay. Yes, what is happening in other languages? Yes, come to Java. Yes, in Java, what happens here? In Java, first of all, source codes. In Java, first of all, source codes converts into bytecode. Here, there is a bytecode. Here, there is a bytecode. In Java, there is a bytecode. 1 second. See, if anyone unable to hear me, rejoin the session. Yes. If anyone unable to hear me, rejoin the session. If you are unable to hear me, rejoin the session. Just rejoin. Yes, okay, fine. Yes. So Java source code converts into bytecodes. See that bytecodes, yes, converts next to binary codes. Binary codes. Binary code. That binary code given to processor. Processor finally generating outputs. So this is what is happening in Java here. Source code, Java source code converts into bytecode to binary code to given to processor generating output here. Yes, in Java, this is a bytecode introduced in Java. Bytecodes. Just some intermediate code introduced here. Yes, why this bytecode introduced in Java here? To make the Java as independent platform. Yes, bytecodes. Bytecode, this is to make the Java as independent platform. Bytecode, to make the Java as independent of platform. Okay. Yes, we'll discuss how Java made as independent platform. Create topic. Today we'll discuss. Okay, first source code to bytecode. See, source code to bytecode. Yes, source code to bytecode. Yes, this is by the Java compiler. Yes, source code to bytecode converting by the Java compiler. Next, bytecode. Yes, bytecode to binary codes. Bytecode to binary codes. Bytecode to binary code. Yes, this is by the Java interpreter. Java interpreter. Okay. Yes. See, first part. Source code to bytecode by the Java compiler. Bytecode to binary code by the Java interpreter. Okay. Yes. Here Java compiler checks for errors. What happens in Java here? See, Java compiler checks for errors. Java compiler checks for errors. Java compiler checks for errors. Suppose if no errors, Yes, Java compiler checks for errors. If no errors, then it generates bytecodes. It generates bytecodes. If no it generates errors, then it generates bytecodes. See, Java compiler checks for errors. If no errors, then it generates bytecodes. Okay. Yes. So actual program execution by the interpreter. That bytecode program execution by the interpreter. 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 Okay. So you can source code to bytecode by the Java compiler. Bytecode to Bytecode with Java interpreter. Okay, that means yes, Java compiler checks for errors. If no errors, generating bytecode. That bytecode taken by the interpreter. So that bytecode program, yes, that bytecode. See, bytecode program execution by the interpreter. Yes, let me show that practically. Let us see practically. This one, let us see practically. Yes, read right. Support test folder. Yes, here we'll develop on Java. Okay, just I'm using Notepad. Actually, Java application development we use Eclipse. See our daily class with Eclipse only here. Using Eclipse here. But for better understanding purpose, just I'm using Notepad. Today I'm using Notepad for understanding purpose. Okay. Yes. So detailed test folder. Yes, in this, let us develop one sample program. Very simple program. Yes, D drive and test. D drive test folder. Yes, CMD. Command prompt. Yes, D colon that will take to D drive. Here, just here. This is test directory. CD test. Change it. CD test. Changed. Here output CLS. Yes. Here. Yes, here. Zero files, no files. Yes, now Notepad. Test.java. Notepad test.java. Notepad test.java. Notepad test.java. See, cannot find test.java file. Do you want to create new file? Say yes or say yes. Yes. Now you can see public. Very simple program. Public class test. Okay. Starting class test, starting ending. Understanding. Fine. Yes, next public. Yes, static void main. Yes, simple Java program. Main. Yes, string square brackets box. String square bracket box. Starting. Yes, system dot. Yes, system dot. Yes, out dot. Println. Here it's a hello world. It's closing. Very simple program. Okay. Save and exit. Yes, DR. CLS, DR string, DR. See, test.java program. Now compiling this program. Compiling, like a C programming, here also compilation. Compiling. Yes, Java C. Compilation. Compiling program. Java C test.java. Java C test.java. Compiling program. Yes, program compilation. Yes, no errors. Yes, if no errors, generating dot class. Suppose some errors are there, shows all the errors. 1 second. Let me delete dot class file. Del start dot class. That is deleting dot class file. Del means deletion. I'm deleting dot class file. That start dot class means that name can be anyone. Extension is dot class. Yes, the dot class will remove here. CLS, DR, the test dot Java is there. Yes, notepad, notepad. Yes, test dot Java, notepad, test dot Java. Yes, this. Suppose there are some mistakes here. There are some mistakes. Suppose here bracket missing. Suppose semicolon missing. On this place missing. Save, 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 and exit. Now let us compile. Let us compile this one here. Yes, test.java compilation. Yes, Java C. Yes, test.java. Compiling Java program. Yes, series all the errors. Previously we discussed Java compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Compiler, interpreter differences we discussed. Previously, compiler and interpreter differences discussed. Previously, compiler and interpreter differences discussed. Interpreter is only one error, but compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Compiler shows all the errors. Compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. See this? This is 5th line error, 8th line error, 10th line. So all the errors from top to bottom. Same thing. Compiler shows all the errors from top to bottom. Okay, now let us correct all the errors. Correction of this error. See, I'm using up arrow key. Okay, up arrow key. Yes. Using up arrow key near the previous comments. Up arrow key test.java. Yes, this. No mistakes. Correction of mistakes. Closing brackets. Yes, semicolon missing. On this open. Closing brace missing. Save. Save and exit. Now let us recompile. DR test.java recompile. Yes, Java C test.java recompilation. Yes, recompilation. Yes, after recompilation, no errors. If no errors, generated dot class file. So test.java is a source code file converted into bytecode. Source code to bytecode. Java test.java is source code. Okay. Yes. Now what is happening here? Test.java. Test.java. It's source code. The source code given to Java C Java compiler. The Java compiler taking test.java generate. See, Java compiler checks for errors. If an error generates bytecode. Okay, so test.java, this is source code file. This is source code. So this is source code. This is source code. That source code file is given to Java C Java compiler. Taking that code here, checking all the errors, no errors, generating dot class. Dot class is a bytecode. Dot class is a bytecode. It's a bytecode file. It's a bytecode. Dot class bytecode. Dot class bytecode, right? So you can source code to bytecode by the Java compiler. Yes, the point is clear, right? See in Java, what happens? Source code to bytecode, bytecode to binary code, then processor finally here. Okay, so you can Java intermediate code is here. Okay, yes. Now here source code to bytecode. Source code to bytecode. Source code to bytecode by the Java compiler. See here. Source code converting into bytecode by the Java compiler. See this source code. Test.java given to Java compiler. No errors. Generated dot class means bytecode generated. Bytecode generated. Okay, bytecode generated. Yes, tested dot class. Okay, this part completed. Source code to bytecode by Java compiler. That source code test.java given to Java compiler. Yes, no errors. Generating dot class. So bytecode. So this part completed. This part completed. That means this part completed. Completed. Now this tested dot class. Tested dot class file. Not tested dot class file. Yes, Java. Yes, tested dot class. Enter key. Yes, executed. Now what is this? It's the interpreter. Yes, that program executed by the interpreter. Tested dot class. It's a bytecode file. That bytecode file executed by the Java interpreter. See, this is Java compiler. Java C. It's a Java compiler. Java C is a Java compiler. So Java compiler checked for all errors. No errors. Generated dot class file. The dot class file given to JVM. The tested dot class file given to JVM. So JVM executes dot class file generating hello world output. That's it here. So program execution by the interpreter. So here errors checking by the compiler. Program execution by the interpreter. So dot class file given to interpreter. This is Java interpreter. This is Java compiler. This is Java interpreter. So that's a tested dot class. Tested dot class. It says this dot class is not necessary. Here dot class. We should not use dot class. Okay. Yes. See this. It's like this. So Java tested. Okay. So this dot class file taken by the interpreter. Some dot class file. So this dot class file, the Java interpreter, interpreter, Java interpreter, right? Yes, this interpreter takes the bytecode. Okay, this bytecode dot class file gives the Java interpreter. That interpreter taking bytecode, converting it to binary code, converting it to binary code, converting it to binary code. After converting to binary code, given to processor, that will be given to processor. So processor taking the binary code, generating output finally. That's it. Okay. So what is happening here? Errors checking, errors checking, errors checking by the compiler, error checking by the compiler, error checking by the compiler, error checking by the compiler. Okay, program execution by the interpreter. By the interpreter. Okay, program execution by the interpreter. That means here Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. Okay, see there are two things involving here. Yes, first compile Java C, test.java compiled, test.java compilation. So Java compiler, program execution by the interpreter. That's it, two things. Suppose if it's C program, only compiler checking for all errors. If no errors, generating one exe file, then execution. Right? Yes, C language compiler. Yes, compiling all the code top to bottom. Suppose no errors, converts in one exe file, converts in exe file, that exe file executes. So compiler will do everything. Even Python interpreter will do everything here. Okay. So either interpreter or compiler, only one thing. But in case of Java, there are two things involving compiler as well interpreter. Compiler as well interpreter. So Java depends on compiler and interpreter here. Java, yes, depends. Java depends on, yes, both. Java depends on both compiler, yes, compiler as well interpreter, as well interpreter, as well interpreter, compiler as well interpreter, both here, both involving. Okay, since Java depends on compiler as well interpreter. I think clear, right? It's clear. So first error checking by the compiler, program execution by the interpreter. Okay, Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. I think it's clear, right? Yes, if it is clear, we'll go to next topic. Yeah, one. I'm taking some water.
Java C tester class.
Yeah, just a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So Java depends on
Green.
okay. So Java depends on both. Java depends on both the compiler as well interpreter. Okay. Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. Okay. Yes. Now here. Yes, Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. Okay. Fine. See, previously interpreter compiler. Yes, these all the interpreter based language, they are compiler based language. Yes, either interpreter or compiler, only one thing is working. But when come to Java, both are working. Compiler as well as interpreter, both. Okay, compiler as well. Yes. 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 Compiler as well interpreter. Okay, Java is depends on both compiler as well. Here, some question here. See here, this point. Yesterday, see interpreter based language don't have exe file. Yesterday we have discussed about this. Interpreter based language. Yes, interpreter based language. Okay. See, interpreter based language don't have exe file. Same this point yesterday we have discussed. Same that point yesterday we discussed. Okay. Yes, interpreter based language don't have exe file. Yes, compiler interpret differences. Yesterday, yes, compiler and interpret differences discussed. Compiler interpret differences. Compiler and interpreter the differences. The differences. Yes, in the differences here, what's the main difference between interpreter and compiler? Interpreter and the compiler. Interpreter and the compiler. Main difference is compiler generates exe file. It generates exe file. Interpreter no exe file. Yes, interpreter it will not generate exe file. Interpreter does not generate exe file. Compiler generates exe. This is the main difference. Compiler, if it is a compiler generates exe file, interpreter does not generate exe file. Okay, see here. See, any yes, interpreter based language don't have exe file. Okay, see here. Any language, here some question for you guys. Some question for you guys. Any language, yes, any language program execution, any language program execution, any language program execution by the interpreter, by the interpreter. Yes, by the interpreter. Any language program execution by the interpreter. Yes, don't have exe. Yes, I think this point is clear, right? See, any language program execution, errors checking by the compilers, program execution like this. Okay. See, any language program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Okay, any language program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Now come to Java. See in Java, yes, Java program Java program execution by the interpreter, by the interpreter, by the interpreter. Okay, by the interpreter. Okay, Java program. See, Java program execution by the interpreter. Yes, here Java program execution by the interpreter. Okay, see any language program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Yes, when come to Java, in Java program execution by the interpreter. Java program execution by the interpreter. Now, based on these 2 points, some question for you guys. Some question for you guys. See, any language program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. If program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Yes, when come to Java program execution by the interpreter. Okay, now question is here. Question is, yes, can we create exe file Java presentation? Can we create exe file in Java? Can we create exe file in Java? Or yes, is there any exe file concept in Java? Question. Yes. See here, try to understand these 2 points. From these 2 points, come to one conclusion here. From these 2 points, what is the first point here? Any language program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. As per yesterday discussion, this is interpreter, no exe file. Compiler exe file generates. Yes, interpreter based language, no exe file. Interpreter based language, no exe file. Okay. Yes. See, any language program execution by the interpreter, any language Program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Program execution by the interpreter no exe file. Yes, in Java, program execution by the interpreter. See, based on 2 points. Tell me. Yes, the program execution by the interpreter don't have exe. Yes, I think you're understanding, guys. You guys are understanding this point here. See, program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Program execution by the interpreter don't have exe file. Yes, in Java, program execution by the interpreter. So, is there any exe file concept in Java or not? Tell me, guys. Based on 2 points. Based on these 2 points here. Try to answer this question. Can we create exe file in Java? Yes, it's an interview question. It's an interview question. Based on these 2 points here. Yes, compulsory question. Interview is asking compulsory question here. See, try to understand once again. Once again, these 2 points. Yes, you guys understand. Try to understand my points here. See here. Any language program executing by the interpreter don't have exe file. Program execution by the interpreter no exe file. No exe file. Java program execution by the interpreter. Java program execution. You see any program execution by the interpreter no exe file. No Java program execution by the interpreter. So can we create exe file? Is there any exe file concept in Java? I think you're not understanding my point. What I'm explaining here. Very simply explain here. See, program execution by the interpreter. Okay. Yes, Shobha. Okay, good. See here, program execution by the interpreter. Program executing by the interpreter no exe file. Program execution by the interpreter no exe file. See Java program execution by the interpreter. Yes, since Java program execution by the interpreter. Yes, any exe file in Java? No. No, we can't create. No exe file in Java. No exe file. Yes, you guys understand this point? What I'm saying? I'm not getting response from you guys. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Hello. See, here very simple case, simple. First what I explained here. If it is interpreter based no exe file concept, it will not generate exe file. Yes, interpreter does not generate exe file. Yes, interpreter no exe file concept. Yes, interpreter it will not generate exe file. No exe file for the interpreter. Okay, next another point also explained. What is this point here? Another point. Interpreter based language don't have exe file concept. See any language program execution by the interpreter no exe file. Program execution by the interpreter no exe file. If program execution by the interpreter no exe file, a Java program execution by the interpreter, that means no exe file concept in Java. That's it here. Okay, see here, CLS, DR, see first, see .java file compilation, Java C, yes, test.java, Java C test.java, compile, right? After compilation result is what dot class file. We got dot class file. Okay, dot class, right? Get the dot class file executed. Java test dot class file executed. Yes, in this process here. Okay, in this process, have you seen any dot class file here? Yes, any dot class file generated. Have you seen any dot class file? Yes, sorry, dot exe. Sorry, dot exe. See first dot Java file, next dot class file. First dot Java converted dot class. Have you seen any dot exe file? Yes, in this process. See first what is first step? Notepad test.java. Notepad test.java. It's open. So this is test.java file. Okay, first is .java file. .java file compilation. Yes, generating dot. Yes, .java file compilation compiled. After comparison is what dot class. That dot class will executing Java test enter hello world, right? Yes, in this process dot Java and dot class only. Yes, no dot exe, right? Yes, have you seen any dot exe file? Please respond, guys. If you're responding, I can proceed further. If says yes or no, I can go to next topic. Okay. See, if you're responding, then I can move. Okay. Suppose if you're not responding, so what should I understand? Yes, my class, you understanding or not? I should know that. I should know the status, right? You understanding my class or not? Suppose if you're understanding, then I'll go to new topic. Okay. See, my classes are different from others. See, if your students are responding, then I can move to next topic, next topic. Okay. So always I'm expecting response from the students. Say yes or no. Suppose if you are not understanding, just you ask me, I'll repeat. My topics like a spoon feeding. Everyone will understand. Everyone has to understand it. My intention is everyone has to understand. Even non-IT background guys also have to understand. That is my intention. That's the reason repeatedly I'm explaining here. If says yes or no, then I'll move to next topic. Suppose if not understanding, I'll explain once again. Okay, just you ask me to repeat, I'll repeat. Don't hesitate. You ask me, I will repeat here. No worry. Yes. Now see this here. Here, in this process, test.java tested.class, right? There's no .exe file. Yes, it's not generic. See, yesterday C program generated one .exe file, but here today no exe file. Means no exe file concept in Java. So in this whole process, no exe file. So we can't create exe file in Java here. Yeah, there is no concept of C. There is no concept. Yeah, there is no concept. There is no yes concept of exe files. There is no yes concept of exe files. Yes, in Java. There is no concept of exe files in Java. There is no concept of exe files. There is no concept. There is no concept of exe files in Java. Okay. See in Java, everything. Yes, everything is a dot class file. Java, everything is a dot class file. In Java, everything is a dot class file. In Java, everything is a dot class file. Everything is dot class. In Java, everything is a dot class file. Okay. In Java, everything is a dot class file. See, dot class file is not exe file. See, dot class. See, dot class. Dot class file, yes, is not an exe file. Dot class is not an exe file. Okay. Dot class is not an exe file. Dot class is not in exe file here. So what is exe file? See, exe file is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. Binary. Exe file is a binary code file. Yes, exe file is a binary code file. Yes, it's a system understandable language. It's a system understandable language. It's a system understandable language. Okay. So exe file is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. It's a system understandable language. Yes, what is dot class? See dot class. What is dot class? See dot class file. See dot class file is a bytecode file. Is a bytecode file. Dot class is a bytecode file. Bytecode file. Yes, it's a JVM understandable language. It's a JVM understandable language. JVM understandable language. Understandable language. JVM understandable language. JVM understandable language. So this is just introduction to Java. Just introduction. What is Java? So Java depends on what? Both compiler as well interpreter. So Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. Java depends on both compiler as well interpreter. Okay, fine. Now, yes. Now let us start. This feature Java features. Okay, Java is an independent platform. Yes. Now let us see the features here. Java features. Yes, we should discuss about independent platform. Okay, this one. Okay. Yes. See, Java is an independent platform. Java is an independent platform. What does mean here? Java is an independent platform. What does mean? Let's see. Java is independent platform. See what does mean here. See what does mean. What does mean? Yes, platform means OS. Previous class we discussed. Platform means OS. Platform means OS. Platform means OS. OS. So Java program can run on any OS. Independent of platform means independent of platform. Independent of platform means independent of platform means Java program Java program Java program can run on any OS. Java program yes can run on any OS. Any OS. Yes, Java program can run on any OS. Okay, independent platform means Java program can run on any OS. It can run on any OS. Java program can run on any OS. Independent platform means can run on any OS. Now question is here. Yes, how Java? Yes, how Java made us independent platform? How Java made us? Yes, independent of platform. Yep, this is question. How Java made us independent? Okay, see here Java is independent platform. What does it mean? Yes, independent platform means Java can run on any OS. Java program can run on any OS. That is independent. Any OS here can run on any OS. That is independent platform. Okay, how Java made us independent platform? That's the question here. How Java made us independent platform? How? How? Yes, this is important question. Yes, for this purpose, yes, you must have some exe file knowledge. Yes, if you have the exe file knowledge, then easy to understand this one here. Exe file, about exe. First of all, let us say about exe file. About exe file. About exe file here. What is exe file? Okay. See, exe file. Exe file is a binary code file. It's a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. Exe file is a binary code file. Yes, it's a system understandable language. System. It's a system understandable language. It's a system understandable language. Exe file is a binary code file. It's a system understandable language. It is a system understandable language. It's a system understandable language. Okay, fine. Some question for you guys. Some question. Suppose exe file prepared. Exe file prepared. Exe file prepared on Windows space. On Windows space. Yes. Can I run on Linux space? Anyone can answer this? Exe file prepared on Windows space. Can I run on Linux space? Exe file prepared on Windows space. Can I run on Linux space? Yes, very simple question. Of course, I'll explain. Exe file. See, exe file prepared on Windows space. Can I run on Linux space? No idea. Yes, Mr. Rohini. No. Yes, exe file prepared on Windows space. Can I run on Linux space? Answer is no. Answer is no. Cannot. Answer is no. Yes, reason. What's the reason here? Reason. Yes, reason. Reason. Yes, reason is exe file. Exe file. Yes, is a OS dependent. Exe file is OS dependent. Reason exe file is a OS dependent. Exe file is OS dependent. Yes, immediately question why? Yes, exe file is OS dependent. Yes, why exe file is OS dependent? That's a question. Yeah, this is important. Why exe file is OS dependent? So why exe file is OS dependent? Okay. See, exe file prepared on Windows space. Can I run on Linux space? Okay. No. Reason exe file is OS dependent. Okay. Yes. Yes. Why exe file is OS dependent? Yes, Sarika. Okay, good. Either execute under Linux or Windows, not on both. Okay, good. Reason exe file is OS dependent. Exe file is OS dependent. So why exe file is OS dependent? See, reason is exe file is OS dependent. Okay, OS dependent. Yes, why exe file is OS dependent? Why exe file is OS dependent? Let us see. So for this purpose, about exe file, yes, you must know. You must have the idea about exe file. So what is exactly exe file? See, for example here, yes, C program exe file, C program exe file, C program exe file. Yes, prepared on Windows page. Prepared on Windows page. C program exe, for example, C program exe file. C program exe file prepared on Windows page. Then it contains. C program exe file prepared on Windows page. C program exe file. C program exe file prepared on Windows page. Then it contains what? Let us see. Okay. C program exe file prepared on Windows page. Then it contains what? Let's see. So this is C program. Yeah, this is C program. Okay. This is C program. Math.cpp. Yes, compilation. Run it. When it try to run it, it will create exe file and execute. First creating exe file, then execute. Same topic yesterday discussed. Same topic yesterday discussed. Okay. So when you run it here, so first exe file creates then execution. Yes. What happens? Now let us see backend. Yes, name of the program file is math.cpp. It's a math.cpp. It's a math.cpp. C type, turbo C, yes, bin. In bin, yes, math. See, this is math.cpp file here. C++ and C both are same. Okay, the C program. Okay, yes. Now this program, how it's working. So first the compilation, just the compilation. See, once it compiles and the result file created here. Yes, 5:54 p.m. 10/3. So 10th March 5:54. Yes, that object file created .obj file. Properties. It's a .obj. That object file created. .obj. That object file created. Just object file created. Object file created. Okay. After that, success. Now run it. When you try to run it here, what happens? See, when you try to run it here, yes, that exe file created. Application is exe file. So right click, properties, check it here. .exe file. The .exe file created. .exe file created. Yes, how that exe file creates here? Okay, how that exe file creates? Yes, let us see. Yes, exe file. See here, this is our C program, right? Main function. Yes, all the C program. For all the C program, yes, generating an object file. Yet this object file, this object contains binary code for our C program. Binary code of C program. So that object file contains binary code for our C program. Binary code for C program. Next, these predefined libraries. These predefined libraries also contains binary codes. Predefined library contains binary codes, and your C program, this is object file also contains binary codes. Next, apart from this, OS library. OS library also binary codes. See, at the time of creating exe file, math.exe file created. At the time of creation of exe file, yes, that C compiler taking yes, binary code for our C program, binary code for C program, next binary code for C library, binary code for OS library. By linking all of this, it generates exe file. By linking all of this in generating exe file. Okay, a C program exe file prepared in Windows OS, then it contains C program exe file prepared in Windows OS, then it contains binary codes. See, binary, yes, binary codes. Binary code for C program, binary code for C program, plus yes, binary codes for C library, binary code for C library, binary code for C library, plus yes, binary code for OS library, binary code for OS library. binary code for voice library, binary code for voice library, binary code for voice. Okay, see at the time of generating exe file, at the time of generating exe file, yes, that C compiler taking binary code for C program, binary code for C program. That means here math.obj file that contains binary code for your C program. Okay, next binary code for C library, binary code, binary code for C library means that stdio.h that binary code. Next binary code for OS library, OS library. By linking of all of this in generating exe file. See, previously we discussed in previous classes. In previous classes about OS. See, every program linking with OS library. OS library, here is library. OS contains library. Every program, see, every program has to link with OS library before going to start execution. So these are all the programs linking with OS library. Of linking OS library here, get the executes. So linking with OS library, see what happens in case of this C programming here. Yes, at the time of creation of exe file itself, at the time of creating exe file itself, okay, then binary code for C program, binary code for C library, binary code for OS library. Yes, by linking all of this in generates one exe, generates exe file. So that exe file, that exe file is, yes, links with OS library, links with OS library, links with OS library. That exe file links with OS library. Yes, let us take one more example. Let us take one more example. One more example. C program exe file prepared on Windows Linux base. Linux base. C program exe file prepared on Linux base. Then it contains binary code for C program, binary code for C library, next binary code for Linux OS library. Linux OS library. Okay, here it's a Windows OS library. Here it's a Windows. Here it's a Windows OS library. So here Windows library, here Linux OS library. That's it here. Okay, so C program exe file prepared Linux base. Yes, let us see this point also. Linux base. Let us see Linux base also. See Linux base. See Linux base. This time starting Linux base. Yes. Yes. CD that mn directory. Yes, you guys don't think about Linux base. Here I'm using some commands. Yes, don't think about Linux commands. Just think about that C compiler, how it's working. One second, remove, deletion, deleting that ABC file. Yes, remove start.o file. Yes, remove the project exe file. Yes, remove here. See, test.c, gedit, like a Windows notepad. It's Linux notepad. Test.c. Yes, this program. stdio.h. Yes, same. Addition, subtraction, and multiplication of two numbers. That program. Yes, how this is. See here. First of all, compilation. GCC -c test.c. Compilation. Compiles. Results. Test.to file generated. Compile. This test.to file contains binary code for C program. Binary code for C program. So this part, this part, this part. Binding code for C program. Binding code for C program. Binding code for C program. The test.c, yes. Test.c compiled. Result file is test.o. The test.o file contains binding code for C program. Binding code. Test.o file contains binding code for C program. Okay. Yes. Next. Here after that, next creation of exe file. GCC -c. Yes. Project result project exe file. Yes. Test.o. H GCC. Sorry. -o. -o. Yes. That project exe file created. Project exe file created. The result project exe file. That exe file generated. Project exe file generated. The exe name can anyone can. Project exe. Run it. Project exe. Yes. Addition subtraction. Okay. That project exe file. Addition subtraction and multiplication. Okay. Yes. So that exe file. This exe file contains what? Okay. See, I'm repeating once again here. Once again. Remove start.o file. Remove here. Remove the project exe file. Remove here. See, first test.c program. zreach test.c. So this is our C program. Next here, std header file here. So first the compilation, only compilation. GCC -c test.c compile. Result is what? Test.o file. Result is test.o. Result is test.o. Now creating exe file GCC-o project exe file. Yes, that ex result ex name can be anyone. Yes, I'm using name project. Okay, test.o, right? Yes. Now what happens here? Compiler taking test.o, that means binding code of C program. Next, binding code for C library, std file, binding code for OS library. By linking all of this in generating project exe file. LS. See that the exe file generated. Here the exe file. Now let us execute. / project exe. Yes, run it. The exe file executed and given output. Yes, not only project here, you can use any name. Any name. Any name. Suppose I'm using Durga name. Yes. By name of Durga exe file generated. / Durga. Yes, that's it working. So exe file is a Linux based exe file. That Linux based exe file contains what here? C program exe file prepared Linux based, then it contains binding code for C program, binding code for C library, binding code for Linux based library. That's it here. Okay, even we can see that. Yes, see it the project exe file. What is exactly exe file? That contains what? Project exe file. It's a binary code file. Binary code file. Yes, you can see all that binary codes. See binary codes. So all these binary codes. 0s 1s format. It's a binary codes. All these binary codes. It's a binary codes. It's a binary codes. Okay, right? Yes, in Linux, there's a file command to check the type of the file. File command to check the type of the file. File command test.c. Yes, you say C source ASCII text. C source ASCII text. Now file command. Yes, project exe file. Project. See this? It's executable file. Project is a executable file. Okay, see here ld-linux x8664.s for it means Linux based library. It's Linux based library. So Linux based libraries linked to project exe file. That's it here. That Linux based library linked to project exe file. Linux based library linked to project exe file. Linked to project exe file. That means that exe file contains what? Linux based library. That's it. That's it here. So here exe file links with OS library. Okay, yes, if creating on Windows OS, links with Windows OS library. If it is a Linux OS, the links with Linux OS library. That means here, yes, exe file, yes, always, yes, always links with OS library, links with OS library. Okay, yes, it's a statical linking. At the time of creation of exe file itself linking. So statical linking. Yes, it is a statical linking here. It is a statically linking. It's a statical link. statically linking. It's a statically linking. Yes, it's a statically linking. Okay, so this is about exe file. Now this exe file running on different platforms. Suppose test.exe file. For example, test.exe file prepared. Yes, prepared test.exe file prepared on Windows OS. On Windows OS. On Windows OS. Windows OS. Then yes, then it contains yes Windows OS Win library that contains Windows library. Right? Library. Now test.exe file with Win library on different platforms. How it's working here. Win library on different platforms, on different platforms, on different platforms. Yes, how it's working. Let us take different platforms. How it works here on different platforms. Now first let us take Windows platform. Windows platform. Windows platform. Yes, suppose hardware. See hardware. Yes, on top of hardware. Yes, OS is running. On top of hardware OS. Suppose Windows OS. Yes, Windows with yes Win library. Windows with Win library. Windows OS with Windows Win library. On top of which, yes, that exe file placing. Okay, on top of it, test.exe file. Test.exe file. Test.exe file. Okay, see here, test.exe file with Win library on different platforms. How it's working here. See test.exe file prepared Windows OS, then it contains Windows library, then it contains Windows OS library, it contains Windows library. So test.exe file with Win library on different platforms. How it's working here. First, let us take Windows platform. So when you try to run test.exe file, yes, it will try to call. Yes, call to Win library. Yes, it will try to call to Win library. See here, it's linked with Windows library. See test.exe file, since linked with Windows OS library. See, it's linked with Windows OS library. Test.exe file prepared Windows OS. Then it contains Windows library. So when you try to run test.exe file, it will try to call Windows library. Yes, here it's available. Just it will try to call Windows OS library here. It will try to call it. It will try to call it. Yes, it's available. Windows OS library, it's available. Yes, simply calling here, then execution. Working fine. It's working fine. Now let us take another platform. Another platform. Let us take another platform. Yes, another platform. Another platform. Linux. Linux. Linux base. Linux with Linux library. Linux with Linux library. Okay. Now when you try to run test.exe file Linux base, what happens here now? This test.exe file, it will try to call Windows library, but here is not available. That library is not matching. Library is not matching. It will try to call Windows library, but here Linux library. So Windows library different, Linux library is different. It's not matching. Since not matching, simply fails. That's it. Same thing if it is Unix, again fails. Because that exe file is linked with Windows OS library. Okay, yes, since exe file, yes, linked with OS library, yes, OS library, yes, it's a OS dependent, OS dependent, that's it here. Okay, since exe file is yes linked with OS library, it's OS dependent. See here, yes, why exe file is OS dependent for this answer. Yes, exe file is linked with OS library. Since exe file is linked with OS library, it's a OS dependent. So why exe file is OS dependent? Reason, it contains OS library. It contains OS library. Okay, it contains reason here. Yes, it contains OS library. It contains OS library. It contains OS library. It contains OS library. Just it contains OS library. It contains OS library. That's it. It contains OS library. Okay, fine. Yes, that's about exe. Why exe file is OS dependent? Reason is that. Now let us come to Java. Now we can understand Java very easily here. Java. Java. Let us start Java. Java dot class file. Yes. Java. Same example. Let us take on Java here. Java. Java. Same example Java. See Java program. Yes, in Java program dot class file. Java program dot class. Java program dot class file. Java program dot class file. Prepared. Java program dot class file prepared on Windows base. Then it contains what? Yes, bytecode for Java program. This result file is bytecode. After comparing result is what bytecode. Bytecode for Java program. Bytecode for Java program. Yes, bytecode for Java library. Bytecode for Java library. Bytecode for Java library. Next, binary code for voice library. No, don't have this part. No. Yes, don't have any voice library. The dot class file never links with voice library. Okay, so here dot class Java program dot class file prepared Windows base. Then it contains bytecode for Java program, bytecode for Java library. See, Java library also developed in Java. Java library also developed in Java. That means pure Java program. Don't have any voice library. Yes. See dot class file. See dot class file is a pure Java program. Yes, a pure Java program. It's a pure Java program bytecode format in bytecode format in bytecode format bytecode format bytecode format. Yes, don't have yes don't have yes don't have any voice library. Don't have any voice library. Don't have any voice library. Okay, don't have any voice library. That means dot class is free from voice library here. So dot class, sorry, yes, dot class file a dot class file is free from voice library, free from voice library. It's a free from voice. Dot class file is a free from voice library. Yes, it's a free from voice library. Don't have any voice library. Okay, suppose for example, tested dot class file. For example, tested dot class file. Tested dot class file. See tested dot class file. Yes, running on different platforms. Are working on different platforms. Working on different platforms. Yes, different platforms. Like exe file, this also how it works. Different platforms. Tested.exe file. Working on different platforms. Suppose if it is exe file voice dependent, the test.exe file prepared Windows voice running on only Windows voice because links with voice library. Links with voice library. Since linked with voice library, voice dependent, but dot class file don't have any voice library. Dot class file, yes, working on different platforms. Dot class file is free from voice library. Dot class file don't have any voice library. No dot class file on different platforms. Dot class file. Now let us take different platforms. Like previous example, different platforms. Let us take different platforms. Different platforms. Different platforms. Okay. Yes. See dot class file. No dot class file. Placing on Windows. Yes. Not dot class file running at different. Yes, running on different platforms. Now dot class file on Windows base. Yes, when you try to run it, what happens? Yes, can we run directly here? This dot class file. Can we run it simply here? No, we can't run. We can't run. Reason here. See every program file. See every program has to link with voice library. Yes, before going to start, yes, it has to link C program, C++, Java, Hadoop. All these programs have to link with voice library, but dot class not linked, right? C and C++ at the time of creation of exe file itself. C and C++ at the time of creating exe file itself linked already linked. So already prepared file, so directly execution. But when come to Java, where is that link? No, it's not linked. It's not linked. It's not linked. Then how it can execute? No, you can't execute. A dot class cannot be executed directly. That has to link. See this dot class file. This dot class file also has to link with voice library. Without link, it cannot execute. Now currently don't have any link. So dot class file is not linked with any voice library. Then how it can execute? No, it can't execute. It has to link. The dot class file has to link with voice library. To link with voice library between dot class file and this voice, one more layer comes. Yes, between dot class file and Windows OS, one more layer comes. Yes, that layer is a JVM. JVM come to the picture. JVM come to picture. Yes, JVM taking tested dot class file. Yes, here JVM taking tested dot class file, taking tested dot class file links with Windows OS library. So once linked with Windows OS library, then execution generating output. Okay. Now let us take another platform. Another platform. Yes, Linux platform. What happens on Linux platform? See Linux platform. If it is Linux platform with Linux library, Linux with Linux library, Linux library. What happens here? Yes, what happens? Yes, on Linux also there is JVM. That Linux JVM taking dot class file, Linux JVM, Linux JVM. See Linux JVM taking dot. Yes, 1 second. What's happening? Yes. So Linux JVM taking dot class file links with Linux based library. So once linked, it communicates with hardware components. That's it. Yeah. Okay, let us take another platform, Unix based. Unix. Unix based with Unix library. With Unix library. With Unix library. Yes, here are same. Yes, JVM. JVM taking dot class file links with Unix based library. Now what is happening here? Yes, dot class file is running on Windows OS. That Windows JVM taking dot class file links with Windows OS library. Same dot class file if running on Linux base, Linux JVM taking dot class file links with Linux base library. Okay, same dot class file when running on Unix base, Unix JVM taking dot class link with Unix library. That means that link changes. Link changes, dynamically link changes. Same dot class file, yes, linking on Windows base. Same dot class links with Linux library. Same dot class file linking with Unix library. So it depends on which that link changes. It's nothing but dynamically linking. Dot class file links to yes OS library dynamically. Yes, since linking dynamically, yes, it's a independent platform. That's it. Yes, see, in case of exe file, what happens? In case of exe file, there is static linking. So link is fixed. Exe file, once exe file linked with Windows OS, that is running on only Windows OS. It's a fixed, that link never changes. Exe file link never changes, but dot class file depends on which that link changes. So JVM takes care of linking. JVM takes care of linking to current OS. If it is running on Windows OS, links to Windows OS library. If it is on Linux base, links to Linux OS library. If it is on Unix base, links to Unix library. So depends on current OS, depends on OS running it, that link changes. Okay, so you get Java dot class, see, Java dot class file, Java dot class file, yes, dynamically, dynamically, yes, dynamically links with OS library. Okay, so dynamic links with OS library. Since dynamic linking, since dot class file, dynamically, okay, dynamically, yes, dynamical linking with OS library, OS library, OS library, yes, OS library, yes. It is an independent. This is reason behind of this. Independent platform. That's it here. So how Java made us independent platform is like this. Okay, JVM takes care of making independent platform. That's it here. So independent. Yes, independent. Yes, since dot class file dynamical linking with OS library by the JVM by the JVM Yes, it's an independent platform. It's an independent platform. So how Java made us independent platform behind us JVM. So JVM links the dot class file dynamically with different operating systems. Since dynamical linking, it's a independent voice. That's it here. That's it here. Okay. Now your question is JVM. Is it part of OS? No. JVM is not a part of OS. JVM from the JDK here. JDK software. See, JVM is not a part of OS. JVM is not a part of it. It's not a part of it. It's not a part of it. Not a part of it. Yes, it is from JDK. It is from JDK. JDK. See, Sunsoft developed different, yes, different JVMs for different operations. Sunsoft, they developed different JVMs on different operations. Okay, yes, different JVMs for different operations. Okay, so Windows JVM taking dot class links to Windows OS library. Okay, see here dot class for is a independent platform. See here, see dot class file, dot class file is a independent platform. Yes, Java program. Dot class file is independent. Yes, independent of platform. Yes, but JVM is a OS dependent. JVM is a OS dependent. So for different operations, different JVMs they have developed here. Okay, JVM is a OS dependent, but JVM is a OS dependent. Reason, yes, JVM, yes, JVM, yes, JVM is a, yes, is a C++ exe file. JVM is a C++ exe file. JVM is a C++ exe file. JVM developed in C++. Yes, if it is exe file, OS dependent. JVM is a C++ exe file. Exe file means OS dependent. Okay. Yes, Sunsoft they developed that exe file. JVM is an exe file. That JVM for different operations here. Okay. Yes, JVM for Windows OS, JVM for Linux OS, JVM for Unix OS. So there are different JVMs. JVMs are OS dependent. Java program is independent platform. Java program is independent platform, but JVM is a, yes, OS dependent. That's it here. That's it. Yes, since JVM is OS dependent, JDK also OS dependent. Since JVM is Java Virtual Machine. JVM is Java Virtual Machine. Java Virtual Machine. Since JVM, yes, is a OS dependent. Yes, JDK also OS dependent. OS dependent. That's it here. That's it. See JDK. Suppose Windows JDK. See here, it's a Windows JDK. This Windows JDK, we cannot install on different operations. For different operations, different JDK, you have to download it. JDK. See, download JDK 1.8, JDK 8. See, all the JDKs. JDK for Linux base, JDK for Mac OS, JDK for Solaris, JDK for Windows. So there are different JDKs for different operations. So this is about independent platform. Yes, how Java made us independent platform? Reason, in Java dot class for dynamically linking to OS library by the JVM. That's it. Since dynamically linking, whenever OS changes, that link changes. The reason is a independent platform. That's about independent platform. Okay. Yes. Same topic explain document also. That independent platform. Yes. See exe file dot class for difference. Exe file binary code file dot class a bytecode file. Exe file system understandable language. Yes. Dot class for JVM understandable language. Yes. Exe file contains program code, software, and OS library. OS library. Yes. Dot class for don't have any OS library. Okay. Exe file is a prepared file specific OS, but dot class file is not a prepared file. Don't have any OS library. See here, OS library statically linking with exe file. Yes, dot class file. OS library dynamically linking with dot class file at runtime. So this is statically linking. This is dynamically linking. Okay, right? Yes, exe file already prepared for specific OS. Okay, dot class file is not a prepared file. After moving on to OS, JVM prepares as per current OS. Preparing as per current OS means as per current OS, that linking. That's it. So the difference between exe file dot class. Simple difference. Exe file dot class file main difference here. Exe file is a binary code file, dot class a bytecode file. Next difference, exe file contains OS library, dot class file don't have any OS library. That's it here. Okay. So exe file contains OS library, dot class file don't have any OS library. Okay, that's the main difference. Main difference between exe file dot class file is exe file contains OS library. Dot class file don't have any OS library. That's it. So that's all about all this introduction. Yes, next topic is Java installation. Yes, how to install Java and Eclipse setup. This topic tomorrow will continue. Tomorrow will continue. Yes. Yeah, that's all for today. Yes, guys, any doubts? Any doubts? Yes, if no doubts, let us find up. Tomorrow also same link. Same link. Till Saturday, same link. Okay. Yes, tomorrow we'll go for Java installations. Okay. Yeah. I'll share the PDF definitely. I'll share it. 1 second. See, for our batch that WhatsApp group created. WhatsApp group created. Yeah, I'll share your Gmail ID. Yes, Srinivas Rao MSR. Okay. Yeah, I'll share your Gmail ID. Yes, today I'll give the access to your Gmail ID. You can get it. Yeah, this is the group. Yes, in this group, yes, I'm sharing daily sessions. First session, second session, third session also shared here. Yesterday's session also shared here. Document also shared here. Yeah, today's session also I'll share in the group. Next. Yes, today. Yes. By 8 o'clock, I'll give the access. Okay, today 8 o'clock. Yes, by 8 o'clock, I'll give the access. Okay. Yes, still anyone to share your details, share here. So this is my WhatsApp number. Take it. Share your details. Yes, your name and Gmail ID. Name and Gmail ID. Take it. Yes, tomorrow we are going for Java installations. Yes, seriously, we should start programming from tomorrow. Okay. Yes, after this, all the introductions, theory concepts, all are completed. Okay. Yeah. So thank you guys. Yes, take this number. If anyone not share your details, take this number and share your details. Yes, anytime. Yes, at your free time, just share your details. I'll add the group. So thank you guys. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow also same link.